everybody, welcome back to our Neck of the Woods. I'm Scott.
I'm Erin.
And since we've got her with me today, we're headed on our way now to Menards. We have our preliminary drawings for our new deck. Some things have changed with the type of lumber and stuff that we're using. So because we've got all of our new numbers now, we're on our way. We're gonna pick up some lumber, and then hopefully today we can actually start attaching some boards so we can get the decks started and going. So the first thing that the new engineer changed was he ran the calculations and he actually figured we could save some money, that 2x12s actually weren't needed, that we could step down to 2x10s. Now that does change some things for, like, we're definitely not gonna be able to use the Simpson ICF plates now because over 3 inches of the plate won't even be used because that 2x10 gets moved up along the bottom. But that's okay because he's got the Titan HD bolts, 24 inches on center, zigzagging all the way down the board. So we'll go ahead and punch those into the ICFs and into the concrete. But before we do all that, we want to go ahead and make sure we've got a layer of rebar wall behind that plate, so we don't have to worry about painting that later. And then we also will paint the back side of the plate as it goes up against the wall. Therefore, it's all waterproofed and they're kind of even bonded together to help keep anything out of there. As for the diamond pier system, it looks like we are going to save a lot of money there. The corners, he did up to the diamond pier 100s. I've got to look at which pole length he's got, or I've got to call Diamond Pier and ask them, but the DP 100 at that corner can actually hold up around 8,000 pounds. So 2,000 more than just a regular concrete pier. So way more than enough. But the good thing with that is we only have to stick with the 4 original piers. We don't have to add 5. We don't have to add ones coming off of the wall at 6 feet. And we can actually step down to a diamond pier 50-50 because that middle load, because that's a gable end, doesn't have a crazy amount of weight. So a lot of money that can be saved and a lot of extra work that can be saved. As for the back porch, Erin and I are still trying to figure out what we want. We actually don't think we want to do a full roof anymore. There's discussion on if we want to do like a pergola, if we just want to do like an awning, if we just want to do a mini gable end, a single deck height, a dual deck height, because that back end is so large. And because we're not using the Simpson plates anymore, instead of having the deck end before we get to the master bedroom window, we can actually go another like 16 feet to the edge of the house and make the rear deck even longer. So we're still trying to figure out and plan what we're going to do for the rear, but at least for the front, we've got an idea. We're going to go with traditional trusses. So we're going to have to order them from Menards, and I think that's about it until we get started. So stick around, we'll be back home in a little bit, and we can get started on this.
I would like the back deck to not have a reverse gable because I think it's going to look weird because it's going to be so narrow just going over the sliding glass door. So my vision is when you walk out onto the deck, to the right there would just be a roof covering part of the deck with just a really low pitch. Scott doesn't seem to really care for that idea. I forget why. I think it's gonna block views maybe, and he doesn't want to block any views out that kitchen window. He did have a good idea about having a 2-level deck, so I'm all for that, but I just don't know about this reverse gable idea. We'll see.
Well, Well, as it seems to be every time we get home from Menards, it usually takes too long and it's pitch black. But quickly, I just went ahead and knocked out getting a layer of rubber wall all along where the boards are going to be pressed up against the wall. And then I also went ahead and painted the back side of them. The reason why I did that is just from any moisture, anything that is blown in and gets down and behind there, we're not degrading and hurting the back of the wood. Again, we did pick up treated lumber, even though we're well off 18 inches off of the ground. If you remember before, we couldn't use treated lumber because the Simpson octagon plates and the bolts that went through there, they couldn't go through treated lumber. Well, now that we're not utilizing those plates anymore and we're using either Titan or Simpson 1/2-inch bolts that are going through the wood and through the foam and going directly in the concrete, those can be used for treated. So now it doesn't matter. And the engineer felt a lot better to go ahead and use treated lumber. So got a nice little layer of rubber wall on the back side and on the tops, and then we'll take that board up, we'll turn it this way, bolt it in there. This one here is gonna get cut down because this porch is, again, only 32 foot and we've got two 18-footers here. But we'll go ahead and just use some regular construction screws to bolt that in for now, just to hold it, and then we can come back at a later time and start drilling in the Tapcons. And then again, we'll cut this one down here, bolt that up for the rest, and then we'll have our plate here. And then I think I've got enough paint left over for a 5-gallon bucket that I use to do all of the seaming here, all of the windows and the sill plates, and going all around the base of the garage and stuff. That was all actually 5 gallons. So it is true what they say, you do spend more paint if you brush or roll it on than if you actually spray it. So if you guys are using the rubber wall product, go ahead and find yourself a sprayer that can spray it, because it's gonna save you some product, which is why we only ended up using I think 9 buckets instead of 11 when we did all along the foundation, because we sprayed that all on and we saved a lot of product. But again, tomorrow when these dry and we get these bolted up, I should have enough paint left over that I'll go ahead and put one more layer on top and where it connects to the wall. So that way, basically in that kind of L channel there, you don't have any chance for water to get behind. It will go ahead and sit on the deck boards, hit the ICF or the siding that we do. It'll run on down, hit the top of this rubber wall, and then it'll come out, which is what is on the back side of these right now. And then it will just go on down and dry. And again, since these are treated 18 inches off of the ground, they should pretty much last forever. Now, one other thing I want to do with deck building that some people are starting to do, that I'm going to go ahead and do, I just don't know if I'm going to use the rubber wall or if I'm going to actually use zip tape. If you notice, if this was a deck floor joist, wherever you have two beams come together, or two whatever you're using for your decking material, wherever you have that little like 1/8 inch gap, that's usually where boards start to rot out, because it sets on the decking, it goes down the cracks, it sits on right here, it starts to rot this out. You see streak lines going all the way down in between each one of your floorboards, and usually that's where your decks start to fail. So what a lot of people have been doing recently is taking zip tape and running it all the way down here and rolling it over, so that way any water that hits here and sits on here just hits that vinyl tape, which of course vinyl tape's going to last you, 100 years, and then it's going to roll off the side. And this side usually doesn't rot out because it's exposed, it can dry out, and it's moisture that kills. So if you don't have moisture sitting up in here rotting this board out on top, and if it's just draining down the zip tape, then again, it's going to last forever. So I'm thinking about doing, because it's a heck of a lot cheaper, if we go ahead and roll on rubber wall all the way down the tops of every one of our joists, that's pretty much taking the place of like a vinyl tape. The only thing is we need to make sure that we're going to use a deck board that you can't actually see down in there and see the crack, because obviously a teal color is not something that you want to see in between each one of your floor boards. So if we use composite, I think you can put composites like all the way up next to each other, or very like a 1/16 of an inch gap maybe, so you actually won't be able to see that color. Obviously when it dries, it's a lot more very dark forest green than like the teal color it is now, but I think that is going to be a way to go. Or again, we can just use the zip tape. The only problem with the zip tape is it's got white lettering on it, so that's going to be even brighter than a forest green, so not really sure what to do about that. So hang tight, we're gonna get some dinner. We're gonna wrap up today here. We're gonna go ahead and get everything unloaded off of the truck tomorrow. We'll go ahead and put on this first sill plate. We're gonna try and go back to the deck distributor to pick up our first diamond piers. They're not gonna have the DP 100s in stock, but they will have the 50/50s, which again will go in the middle and at the base of the stairs. He also wants to use a 50/50 that's gonna be at the bottom where the stringers are gonna go. So the stringers will go down. There'll be diamond piers down there. We'll span like a 4x6 treated lumber, and then the stringers will sit on that 4x6. And then that 4x6 again will be held up by the diamond pier, so we don't have to waste a lot of concrete there to make like a concrete step for the stringer to sit on. And then when we actually build out like a concrete walkway through here going over towards the driveway and the garage, we'll build that concrete up to take place of, obviously you're going to have a tread, the stringer height, the thickness of the 4x6, the thickness of the diamond pier that sticks out of the ground. So we'll have to build up dirt, stone, and then concrete to get you up to that first step and stay within that like 7.5 inches. So it's not too much of a first drop, but we'll go over that much later. But again, stick around. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Hey everybody, welcome back. So it's actually been a few days. The day after I painted that that night, this wasn't dry, and as you can see with only one layer on, that's why I went ahead and painted the backside of these boards too, so that way anything that runs down here, you've kind of got the board pushing up against it, and that should help seal this a little bit because it's too cold to be painting anymore. As you can see, we got hit with another snowfall here, so today we're just going to try and get these boards cleaned off, get them up, screwed down, and then when we do hit a warm day again, I want to go ahead and put another layer of rebar wall on the tops of these boards and where the ICF meets up here, so that way anything that rains down and goes down here, we should be good. But the good thing with starting on this side of the house first is because the weather always comes from the west and goes east, this side of the house actually stays pretty dry. Even as you can see, with no overhangs yet, nothing really comes down and gets this side of the house really wet or anything. So we're gonna go ahead and set up, bolt these in, and then tomorrow, as long as this snow and stuff still stays cold and doesn't turn to complete slush, I've got a boom lift coming back out just for the weekend, so we'll have it Saturday, all day Sunday, and then returning it sometime on Monday, because the roofers are coming out and they want to come out this week or next weekend, and I didn't want to pay additional charges to them to have to do all the ladders on this gable end and the ladders on the other house end, and then we still have to actually sheath in between the house and the garage on the gable end there, just like you saw up here. So we've got a little bit of work before we get sheathing going, but they are on their way. We're confirmed for that, so we'll finally have a roof on. But today we're just going to go ahead and get these boards bolted up and probably hang some of the hangers and get those all marched out and set, trim the boards to the appropriate length for how long it's going to be, and then the rest of this video, probably tomorrow, will be sheathing that gable end and getting those ladders done, which I know you guys have already seen when I laddered out the garage gable end, but it's gonna be kind of like a porch / roof video here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here, and hopefully that will burn out the rest of this video and give you guys a little bit of content before we truly get some projects going, like the roofing and the ice guard under laminate, and then maybe we can get started on actually doing some inside stuff because we'll be a little bit more weather protected. All right, so we're having a little bit of difficulty here. These screws, I think when I'm screwing it in, and again, these are just temporary, I believe on the inside, the webbing's just cracking. So these screws aren't holding. This board is a little bowed. It's a little bit going like this down here. So I'm having to push up on the bottom to get up to this Fox block. I don't know if you guys can see it well, but there's two lines on here. There's one right there and there's one right there. I'm trying to get to this top line right here. And as I'm pushing up and screwing in, I think like I said, the plastic webbing is just cracking. Maybe it's too cold out to be screwing in here, but again, these are just temporary. I'm just trying to get this level. I did go ahead and bust out the laser level, so we're casting a shadow on here so we get the top of this board nice and level. When we go ahead and set this officially, when we drill in here and we drill into put in our 1/2 inch Titan bolt, we'll probably put like 2 on the end or 1 on the end on each end, and that way if this board is sagging in the middle here, we'll come up and push up on this, then we'll drill a hole and we'll bolt it in, so that way the ends let the middle still kind of flex up and down. My batteries just died though on the level, so Aaron went to go get some batteries so we can go ahead and set this other one, but that's basically the idea. We've got a nice layer of rubber wall behind it. We've got a good layer of rubber wall on the back side of here. And then we've got a good layer up in here. And then the only thing we have to do is take care of one day is go ahead and like seal this crack. So any water that does get into the house here or snow, as it melts, it doesn't get behind here. It just sits on top of this layer of rubber and can come out here and drain on down. This is the biggest piece of crap that I own. It will not cut a 2x. No matter what I do, no matter how much pressure I put on it, it's completely flat. It's flat against the wall. All it does is burn and cook the blade. Full battery power. This thing is a piece of junk. Hey everybody, welcome back to another day. It's Sunday, snow's starting to melt, it's getting a little warmer out, it's very foggy today. Unfortunately, I don't know how well this video is going to turn out. The GoPro yesterday's just nothing's working, it's too cold out. I keep losing footage, I keep getting freeze frames, like right now as I'm recording this to you. I don't know if my voice is just going to come across or if there's going to be video along with it too. Again, I think it's just the cold weather, but who knows? These GoPros have given me problems ever since I've owned them. One of them won't turn off and you have to pull the battery. One of them won't accept the external mic with the GoPro adapter, the mic adapter. All the firmware is the same. It's just been a constant issue the whole time. But yesterday, as you saw, we got all of the brackets up. I drilled the holes. The bolts have to come in, and actually I have to go back and talk to the engineer. We may have to go with a longer bolt because we moved this board down a little. We're now basically into the full 2 5/8 inches of foam instead of the 1/2 inch of foam up here. So we might have to get a longer bolt because we're spanning a greater distance. The top is also not even in a 1/2 inch of foam, so that may have to be sorted out too. Originally he wanted an 8 inch, and on a full thickness he wanted 12 inch bolts, so we may have to compromise somewhere in the middle, like a 10 inch bolt, and go from there, but not sure. But that's what we got done yesterday. I've only got the outsides because he still has to finalize the plans, so nothing is bolted in yet, like these outside flush mount brackets. They're just sitting in here. There is one screw going through just to kind of hold it, but the bipod, if you will, right there is just kind of holding it up. But once we get the plans finalized and we know that that's what he wants, that's how we're going to do it. We still have to obviously get the diamond piers in to put on the outside, so that's why I'm not running anything out or running this way, because we have to figure out how we're going to do the pull attachments going from the pier up to the deck and then all the way up to the roof. Are we going to cut those? Are we going to notch them and split them? Because it's just a little tricky with some things that he's already talked about and how I'm going to put that together. The other thing, when the GoPro died yesterday, I also ran out of lumber. I forgot I didn't have enough 2x6s, so ladders didn't really get done on this side, and I kind of halted the ladders on this side because, once again, the trusses, I'm not confident in them with how some of them are kind of bowing. So for example, I'm running into a problem where this side right here, if you measure from the 4th truss in and go out, it's like 76 inches, but on the other side it's only 75. So if I build the ladder system out here 100% even, then I'm not gonna fall on a truss when we go ahead and lay a 4x8 sheet of plywood on there for the roof sheathing. So I'm gonna have to kind of go backwards in how we do the roof. Usually you build the ladder out, put your sheathing on, etc. We may have to put the sheathing on and get that spaced out evenly on the house to whatever that may be. I may have to do a rip cut all the way down to make it even coming out on the house, because again, I want to fall on a truss, but I also need the ladder to be the exact same distance off of the house so that it's even. So again, may have to sheathe first or start sheathing up, and then I kind of come in with the boom lift on the outside as I'm doing the ladder as they're sheathing. So again, I don't want to mess it up, so I'm waiting on the roofers to come out, and they said they're ready anytime. So again, today being Sunday, it looks like they'll probably be coming out sometime this week and knock out the sheathing. And then, as it rains indoor on the Mercedes from the snow melting up on our little loft area here, or storage area, I started putting up more paneling up in here. As you can see, problem is I can go ahead and complete this first row. The problem is I have no idea how I'm going to complete the second row and the third row, because doing it from this side of the wall is not really doable, because obviously you have to nail from the garage side to get everything bolted down. So for example, right now I can still step through here and I can jump down to the landing up here. The problem is I myself am not going to be able to take the paneling, get it up onto that one, slide it on down in between the end truss and the common, and then nail it in from here, because obviously we've got a 2-foot gap right here, and obviously I can reach, you know, right here, but I'm not going to be able to get up there and reach. And then of course I have no idea, once you put the next 4-footer here, how am I going to put the next 4-footer there and get up there? So I'm going to have to figure out some sort of ladder system, put something on here on the floor, reaching up over here so that I can stand up on top of. Obviously I can't just stand on the ladder right here and then keep reaching over 2 foot. Not to mention, how am I going to take that sheet, put it up in there, and basically drop it down? I may have to wait till actually the roof sheathing is on, which is not really that big of a deal, because once the sheathing goes on and we start putting some 2x4s to stand on so you don't slide off, if I take a zip panel, move it up on here, I will be able to drop it down. It's just the roofers have to be conscious that when they're putting the sheathing on, they're not putting the sheathing too far beyond the end of this common truss. They have to basically stop right with the flush backside of this, so they don't push the sheathing too far over here, because then I won't be able to slip this panel in. So that's one possibility, along with another, building kind of sort of a ladder system from up here and getting it done. But I don't know, I'm running out of options here, running out of time. I just feel like everything's kind of degrading a little, even though it's not. I mean, it's not like this lumber, there's nothing wrong with it, it's still structurally strong. I just need to get the roof on and get this done. As you can probably tell, I'm getting burnt out. I've been at this obviously since the 1st of June by myself. The weather sucks, everything doesn't fit, everything doesn't, or it breaks. Your batteries last half as long, the GoPros aren't working. It's just kind of everything building all at once. So with the holidays coming up, I mean, maybe we'll just take a break and kind of go from there, or again, just hiring other people out and letting them help me out with this, because this is all kind of an important step with the roof and getting everything squared up and stuff like that, and I feel that it's just not. It's not going to be square, it's not going to look right. That's just my feeling. I'm not saying that's actually the case, but it's hard to get content out when you know that it's not going to be great, or something's going to be wrong with the footage, or you make a mistake and then have to go back and redo it. So I don't know, I think I just need a vacation. But I think I'm just going to wrap this video up here. Last night, again, as I was editing, I noticed the time frame of how much time I've put into the video so far, and again, I don't even know if you're going to be seeing this footage right now as I'm talking. So fingers crossed, roofers come out here, they get the sheathing on, they get everything squared up this week. Gonna return that lift on Monday, and unfortunately have to buy it again, or maybe if they bring a lift out, something that I can use to do the ladders while they're doing this. And then also I told them, if it's gonna save money as they're sheathing up, I'll come up here too and throw on the peaks. They may not be comfortable with that, I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out and get it done. But please like, subscribe this video, comment if you guys have any questions or suggestions about having to do stuff when it gets tricky, or give me a little bit of encouragement to keep on going, because like I said, going since June 1st by myself, I'm just getting burned out, and when one thing goes wrong, you know, it's like quicksand. It just keeps going downhill from there. So we'll see you guys later. Hopefully this week we'll get started, and again, wish me luck. Take care.